I have an application load balancer deployed in my AWS account with the name FIS Demo ALB. If we look at the target group of the application load balancer, we will see that there are 6 registered target instances which are marked healthy. Now let us look at the configuration of the autoscaling group. As you can see here, desired and minimum capacity is set to 6, whereas the maximum capacity is set to 10. If I scroll down a bit, you will see that autoscaling group is placing these EC2 instances across 3 subnets and availability zones, which is exactly what we see in EC2 console. So here in the EC2 console, we see all the 6 instances running across 3 availability zones, 2A, 2B, 2C. If I click on an instance and navigate to tag section, you will see that it is tagged with autoscaling group name FIS Demo ASG. Let us now switch to AWS Fault Injection service and write our first experiment template. Click on Create an Experiment Template. We will create an experiment to terminate all instances belonging to this autoscaling group in availability zone 2A. Let's add a description, terminate all instances in an availability zone. Then add a name, terminate instances in AZ2A. Let's add action. I'm calling it terminate instances. Select action type. You can see all action types listed here. I will search for and select AWS EC2 terminate instances. My target here is called instances target 1. Click on save. Let's look at the target. I see the resource type and action. Let's narrow down our targets further by editing this. I'm going to add a resource tag so that only instances with this tag are terminated. I will further control this by adding an additional filter called availability zone. So in the tag key, we type in AWS autoscaling group name and in tag value FIS Demo ASG. In filters attribute path, we type in placement availability zone and in values AP Southeast 2A. I will also add another filter called state.name with the value running. The link to documentation is also handy here. So if I click on find out more, it will take me to the resource filter sections of the documentation and examples for different resource types such as EC2 instance or RDS. Back to our console now, click Save. For service access, I'm going to use an existing role that I specifically created for EC2 experiments. I will skip over stop conditions, logs, tags, and click on Create an Experiment Template and confirm by writing Create. Let's quickly jump back to our EC2 console to check that all instances are still up and running. Let's now switch back to the FIS console, start the experiment, and wait for it to complete. The initial state is initiating and then goes to running. I will refresh a couple of times till the experiment is complete. Let's go back to the EC2 console and click refresh. You will notice that all instances in availability zone AP Southeast 2A are terminated. If we click on target group, we will see number of total targets is reduced to 4 from initial 6 because the experiment terminated 2 instances. Let us switch back to EC2 console and see if autoscaling group is configured properly and is able to add those instances back. Initially, we had 6 EC2 instances evenly distributed across 3 availability zones. In this case, because the experiment has explicitly terminated the instances attached to this autoscaling group in availability zone 2A, autoscaling group compensates by rebalancing the availability zone and will start 2 instances in the same availability zone. This means we will end up with similar configuration as we had before running the experiment. I will refresh the status a couple of times till I see 2 new instances being initialized in the availability zone 2A. Let us see if these instances are also successfully registered with target group. We see 2 new targets or EC2 instances are in the process of registration. This means our autoscaling is working, as it can not only bring back the instances, rebalance availability zones, but also register them with the load balancer. I will refresh console few times till all the targets are marked as healthy. Before we conclude, let us have a quick look at the experiment. The state is completed, and if I check timelines, it will show me that the time it took to complete the experiment.